of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Father God, you are invited into these chambers, and we are thankful for our many agenda items and a full pipeline of projects. We're appreciative of our employees for getting things done with a spirit of excellence. We are grateful for our boards and commission members' many contributions. Thank you for our police, fire, and military who serve so selflessly and bravely. We ask for divine protection from all harm, seen and unseen, known and unknown. Lord, we acknowledge that what we have now is a direct result of those who went before and sowed into the future. In turn, we now plant seeds for a future harvest, even as we handle the cares and pressures of these days. Let us be wise and discerning as we build a better Goodyear. We give thanks for the businesses, industries, and residents who are choosing to live in our city. By your grace, we open the door of invitation to innovation, entrepreneurs, investments, corporations, arts and entertainment entities, and more to seek out Goodyear. Lord, we trust in you to establish peace and prosperity for us, for all we have accomplished is the result of what you work through us. Amen.
Thank you, Councilmember Kano, for that lovely prayer. All right, Council, we're all here this evening, and we have Vice Mayor Stipp on the telephone. Bill, are you there?
I am, Mayor. Thank you.
Well, welcome. You're coming through quite clearly. So I have two council members that are going to remind me if I forget you're there. So I've given them that assignment tonight. So welcome, welcome. All right, we have no communication items tonight. Now is the time for citizens who would like to address the City Council on any non-agenda item within the jurisdiction of the City Council. Do we have any cards?
No, Mayor.
Is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak? All right, let's get on with it then. Will the city clerk please read consent agenda items 1 through 5 by title only, please?
Number 1, approval of the draft of minutes. Number 2, approve an expenditure for the Adam and Well Number 3 equipping project. Number 3, adopt resolution number 2019-1992 declaring public rights of way for portions of South Ballpark Way and West Festival Way adjacent to Lot 10 of the final plat of Ballpark Village Wood Corporate Campus to be unnecessary for public roadways and vacating and abandoning such unnecessary public roadways. Reserving and declaring a utility easement for existing public utilities within the abandoned roadways, imposing conditions for the abandonment to become effective, providing for the recordation of the resolution and providing for an effective date and approve the replat of a portion of Ballpark Village Wood Corporate Campus subject to stipulations. Number 4, approve the final plat of PB 303 West 2 Phase 1 and authorize the city manager to accept the temporary drainage easement. Number 5, approve the final plat of First Park PB 303 phase and authorize the city manager to accept the temporary turnaround easement.
Thank you. Does anyone on the council wish to remove an item from the consent agenda? Are you okay, Bill, with that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Then can I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion by Councilman Loretano and a second by Councilman Pizzillo. Roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Stipp?
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano?
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell?
Aye.
Councilmember Hampton?
Aye.
Councilmember Kano?
Aye.
Mayor Lord?
Aye.
The motion carries.
Well, great. Let's go to the public hearing. So the first one on the agenda is a public hearing to consider a use permit for a freeway pylon sign for Pebble Creek Marketplace. Open the public hearing. John Frope, Planner 3, will be presenting. John?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening.
Hey, welcome, John.
Thank you. You have a great community out here. I'm pleased to be part of planning and zoning, so thank you for that introduction. Tonight we have two cases that are congruent with one another. I'll present them pretty much the same because there's some crossover, but we would need separate actions on both items tonight. So we're working with Pebble Creek Marketplace. It's a new regional shopping center that's currently under construction at the northwest corner of I-10 and Pebble Beach.
John, Sammy, could you put the microphone a little
Yes.
closer or speak a little louder?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Thank you.
Thank you. The Pebble Creek Marketplace is currently under construction at the northwest corner of Interstate 10 and Pebble Creek Parkway. The Circle K is pretty much up on the corner of McDowell and Pebble Creek Parkway. There's other construction that's going on right now, some underground utility work and site preparation for the shopping center. Here's a map, aerial photo of the site. It's 25 acres total. Again, northwest corner of the interstate and Pebble Creek Parkway. It is zone PAD, planned area development. This is the site plan. It's kind of busy, might be a little bit difficult to read. This is part of the comprehensive sign package. There is a pylon sign that's proposed on the north side of I-10, one sign. The amendment to the, basically the use permit for the pylon sign and the comprehensive sign package is to basically reduce the height of the pylon sign by about 5 feet. And then the applicant is asking to move one of the multi-tenant signs from McDowell Road over to Pebble Creek Parkway at one of the main entry points. So it's a pretty simple amendment. This is a depiction of the pylon sign that would be on Interstate 10. It's roughly 58 feet. The current approval from 2014 allows a sign of about 63 feet, so it's a reduction of about 5 feet. The sign would be very similar to what we have on other properties in Goodyear on I-10. These are the multi-tenant signs. Again, there would be 3 of them, 2 on Pebble Creek Parkway at the main driveway entries into the center, and then 1 would remain, or 1 is proposed on McDowell Road. These are about 16 feet in height. That was the use permit. The PAD and the comprehensive sign plan amendment is the second application. Again, a lot of overlap. I won't be redundant on the presentation. We did the property posting on site. Postcards were mailed to adjacent property owners a few weeks ago. As the project planner, I did not get any feedback from any of the adjacent property owners that were noticed. So no emails, no telephone or correspondence from anybody. So we did present both items at Planning Commission about a week and a half ago. Both items received a unanimous vote to forward a recommendation to mayor and council of 7-0 on both applications. So the request tonight is for you to take separate actions again, and the staff is recommending approval of both the use permit for the pylon sign as well as the amendment to the comprehensive sign plan. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions from council tonight.
Thank you. I see the applicant is here tonight, or I've been told
Yes,
that
the
Andy
applicant is
Gibson, Booz and Duke Sign Company, would they like to speak? Welcome.
Mayor, Council, my name is Andy Gibson with Boots and Duke Sign Company, 2831 West Weldon, Phoenix, Arizona. I'm representing this new shopping center going in, proceeding with the comprehensive sign plan and the use permit for the pylon sign on the freeway. The entire sign package is very comparable with other shopping centers along I-10, same size centers in Goodyear. The signs were designed with the same materials, colors, and textures as the buildings that are going to be going up. I would love to answer any questions for you. It's a pretty clean, nice sign package.
I appreciate it. When we close the hearing, if there are any, I will ask you to come up and address them. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thank you.
Are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
All right. Would anybody in the audience like to speak? And I'm going to close the public hearing. Can I have a motion, a second, to approve the use permit for a freeway pylon sign for Pebble Creek Marketplace? Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion from Councilman Campbell and a second from Councilman Hampton. All right, open for council discussion. No discussion, everybody's happy. Let's vote on it. So all in favor say aye.
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 Thank you, Bill. Oppose? The ayes have it. All right, the next public hearing is to consider an amendment to the Pebble Creek Marketplace pad by amending the Pebble Creek Marketplace comprehensive sign package. I'm opening the public hearing. And John Froke, again, Planner 3 will present, or did he present that both? All right, sounds good. All right, and of course, Andy Gibson did speak. So are there any other speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
All right, then we're going to close the public hearing. Will the city clerk please read resolution number 2019-1988 by title only, please?
Adopt Resolution Number 2019-1988, declaring as public records those certain documents filed with the city clerk titled Official Supplementary Zoning Map 19-05B, City of Goodyear, AZ, Rezone Case, Pebble Creek Marketplace Legal Description and Comprehensive Sign Package for Pebble Creek Marketplace dated June 13th, 2019.
Thank you. Can I have a motion, a second, to adopt resolution number 2019-1988? Do I hear that motion?
So moved.
Second.
I heard it from Councilman Kano, a second from Councilman Stipp. Open for council discussion. Councilman Pizzillo. Councilman Pizzillo?
Nope, nothing. I'm good.
You're good?
He's the
Oh,
one that seconded.
he just wanted to be, oh, he's the one that seconded. We wanted that in correction. That was second by Councilman Pizzillo. You must be talking kind of on a high note tonight. Okay, well, this. All right, let's vote on this. Roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Stipp?
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano?
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell?
Aye.
Councilmember Hampton?
Aye.
Councilmember Kano?
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo?
Aye.
Mayor Lord?
Aye.
The motion carries.
I'll deepen the voice.
All right, so will the city clerk please read ordinance number 2019-1445 by title only, please?
Adopt ordinance number 2019-1445, amending ordinance 14-1314, adopting the Pebble Creek Marketplace final pad by amending the Pebble Creek Marketplace comprehensive sign package included in Pebble Creek Marketplace final pad dated October 9th, 2014, amending the zoning map of the city of Goodyear, providing for non-abridgment, providing for corrections, providing for severability, providing for an effective date, and providing for penalties.
Thank you. Can I have a motion, a second, to adopt the ordinance number 2019-1445? Do I hear that motion?
So moved.
Oh, second.
All right, I heard a motion from Councilman Hampton and a second by Councilman Loretano. Open for council discussion? No discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Stipp?
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell?
Aye.
Councilmember Hampton?
Aye.
Councilmember Kano?
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano?
Aye.
Mayor Lord?
Aye.
The motion carries.
Well, let's go to the next public hearing, is to consider Vita El Cedro Ranch Pad. Open the hearing. Alex Latinsky. Hello, Alex.
Hello.
Planner 3 presenting.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, council members. Vita Communities is proposing about 27 acres at the northeast corner of Cotton Lane and Elwood Street. So to the east is County Island, to the south is Goodyear Crossing Industrial Park, to the north is El Cedro PAD that's designated as single-family residential, and then to the west is a little commercial piece within the El Cedro PAD, which you can see over here in red, and then the future 303 build-out. The property is currently zoned low, medium density residential, AKA LDR4. El Cedro was designated, the last PAD amendment was completed in 2018. So tonight's request is to remove the subject property from the El Cedro PAD and apply the city's MF18 development standards, modifying just a couple, as we've seen in some recent multifamily PADs. These are the development standards that would apply to the property. So you can see the maximum density does propose a lower dwelling unit count per acre. In the proposed site plan, the developers actually, it's approximately 8 or 9 dwelling units per acre, so it's lower than 12, but we did cap it at 12 like we've seen with some other projects. The maximum building height is decreased. And then one of the other standard development standards that does get in the way of this type of development is usually this rear yard standard, which on MF18, it's at 20% of the lot depth, which in this scenario, it would be about 160 feet offset. So it's a pretty small deviation there. You can see 160 versus 100 feet. But we've seen this development standard decrease quite a bit in a lot of the other ones to 20 feet or 30 feet in some scenarios. This is a conceptual site plan of the property, so two points of access. This is off of Cotton Lane, and then the main entry and exit off of Elwood. These are some of the conceptual elevations that were included in the proposal. Unlike some of the other ones you've seen, they're proposing three different styles of elevations. So they have a modern one, and then the craftsman standard like we've seen with some of the others. A citizen review meeting was held on May 16th at the Development Services building. The applicant and staff were available for questions, but there were no residents in attendance. We did have a public hearing before the Planning and Zoning Commission on October 7th. We did not hear any opposition at that meeting as well. There is one thing I'd like to note. Staff recommends approval. The Planning and Zoning Commission did recommend approval on August 7th. However, through discussion with the developer and the property owner and staff, we determined that stipulation 5 was redundant since the development agreement for El Cedro covers it, so we'd like to remove it from the recommendation tonight. That concludes my presentation. The applicant is here available for a presentation and questions, and I can answer any as well. Thank you.
We welcome the applicant, if they'd like to come forward. Is this Mr. Tate?
It's always nice to be welcomed.
Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of council. Benjamin Tate with Withy Morris, 2525 East Arizona Biltmore Circle. On behalf of Vita Communities, I'm delighted to be here this evening. I do have a full presentation prepared, but in the interest of time, if you prefer for me to just answer any questions you may have, I'm happy to do that as well.
I think that they possibly would wait just for questions if they had one to have you come back
Okay.
out. Okay? Am I correct on that? Bill, are you all right with that?
Yes, ma'am, I'm perfectly fine with that.
All right,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Okay, so would anybody in the audience like to speak? Well, let's just go on. Let's go on, and I'm going to close this public hearing. Will the city clerk please read resolution number 2019-1989 by title only, please?
Adopt resolution number 2019-1989, declaring as public records of certain documents filed with the city clerk entitled Official Supplementary Zoning Map 19-07, Vita at El Cedro Ranch Legal Description and Vita at El Cedro Ranch Pad Development Regulations, July 3rd, 2019.
Thank you. Can I have a motion and a second to adopt the resolution number 2019-1989? Do I hear that motion?
Second.
All right, I heard a motion from Councilman Campbell and a second by Councilman Pizzillo. Open for council discussion. You have any questions for the applicant? Yes, would the applicant come forward? A question here for you.
I had a question. So I see that I like that you have variety in the rental properties, the three different elevations. Do you know what percent, or are you just going to go off what people want, or what percent will be flat roof versus the arch roof? Or I'm just curious what it's going to look like from when it's built out.
Mayor, Lord, Councilmember Hampton,
Could you put that microphone a little
Oh,
closer
sorry.
to you? Thank you.
So I believe there are only approximately 18 of the modern elevations for the whole. So there are about 228 units in the entire project. And I believe only about 18 of those are of the modern elevation, the remainder being the cottage and the craftsman.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Councilman Campbell, do you have a question for him?
Yes, thank you. I've got a couple of
There, please.
questions. What is the square footage of each side of the unit?
Mayor, Lord, Councilmember Campbell, I believe, and I'm pulling this off of the top of my head right now, the studio units I think are around 500 square feet, if not a little bit larger. The one bedrooms in the range of, I think, 700 to 800, and then the two bedrooms being around 1,000 square feet. I'll defer to our client for this. Is that about right? Okay.
Okay, 500 to 1,000 is roughly what it's going to be for those.
That would be the range between the studios and the two
And,
bedrooms.
okay, and there's 288 units in this area?
228, I believe.
228,
Yeah.
okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, Brandon?
It might be a repeat from a question I think I asked Katie or Alex before, but this MF designation, if for some reason the market changed, these could turn into condos, correct? With this designation, or do they always have to say as multifamily?
I will defer to Alex on that.
If I don't know, they might always be selling rentals, and that's fine. But if something in the market changed, where they're like, we want to make it condos one day, is that possible?
Mayor, Councilmember Hampton, this is a great lead into our conversation next week that we'd like to have with you in work session. If they were turned into condos, they would require a rezone.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Is that it? I think we're finished.
That's what I
with the
have.
question.
Thank you.
All done? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so let's vote on this. Let's have roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Stipp,
Aye.
Councilmember Hampton,
Aye.
Councilmember Kano,
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo,
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano,
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell,
Aye.
Mayor Lord.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Good. Will the city clerk please read an ordinance number 2019-1446 by title only, please?
Adopt ordinance 2019-1446, conditionally rezoning approximately 27 acres of land located at the northeast corner of Cotton Lane and Elwood Street from the El Cedro Planned Area Development Pad LDR4 to the Vita at El Cedro Ranch Pad, amending the zoning map of the city of Goodyear, providing for non-abridgment, providing for corrections, providing for severability, providing for an effective date, and providing for penalties.
Thank you. Can I have a motion and a second to adopt the ordinance 2019-1446? Do I hear that motion?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion by Councilmember Hampton and Vice Mayor.
Madam
I'm
Mayor,
sorry.
excuse me. The motion needs to reference the deletion of stipulation number 5. So we just adopt that into the motion.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Just deleting the stipulation number 5. We just adopt that into the motion, then we'll take care of that issue
Okay,
too.
so we don't have to
move
do this
that.
at all.
We won't do it as an amendment. Just make a motion to adopt the ordinance as read by the
So
clerk,
just
I
leave it.
move.
deleting stipulation number 5.
I so
Do you want me to
moved.
do it?
There we
You
go.
wanna do it?
Oh, good.
Okay.
All right, so we've taken it off the docket.
We got it.
All right.
If you get a second, we're good.
Bill?
Second.
Bill, we took that off the docket. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. No, we just have
We're
to
good.
vote on the one.
We're good.
Okay. So roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Stipp,
Aye.
Councilmember Kano,
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo,
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano,
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell,
Aye.
Councilmember Hampton,
Aye.
Mayor Lord.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you for that assistant. All right, let's go to number 9, a public hearing to consider rezoning from PAD, Planned Area Development, to PFD, Public Facilities District for the Goodyear Recreation Campus. I'm opening the public hearing. Steve, hello, Steve Coretti, Planner 3, presenting.
Good evening, Mayor, Council members. We do have a rezoning before you tonight. This is the property right here, about 86 acres owned by the city. We have Hudson Commons, we have residential development basically to the north, wrapping around the west. We have Desert Edge High School, City Center PAD here, and additional residential to the east. General plan designates this area basically along Estrella Parkway. There we go. We have business and commerce, and then we have neighborhoods. So currently, the property is zoned PAD, University Park PAD, adopted in 2009. That PAD envisioned a couple universities here and here, and roughly a 30-acre community park. The universities did not develop in this location, but in 2015, you did have Basis Charter School take about 11 acres just north of the high school there. The request for you tonight is because there's a new vision for the area that included a recreation campus on the remainder of those 86 acres. The appropriate zoning classification for that recreation campus is the PFD, Public Facilities District. That zoning allows the rec facilities, parks, and play fields. Pursuant to the general plan, the PFD is considered appropriate with both the neighborhood and business and commerce land uses. And within the zoning ordinance, the uses allowed in the PFD, those are generally compatible with the surrounding area, except for two, and we're going to remove those via stipulation. That was the water reclamation facility and a water treatment facility. So that's why that stip is within the ordinance. And this is the master plan. I know that a lot has been said on that, so I will move on. Public participation. There was extensive public outreach with the adoption of the master plan. With the rezoning, we did have a citizen review meeting on July 24th. We had two residents attend, one email. With all the extensive public outreach, we envisioned light attendance, so that was fine. All feedback so far has been positive. Because it is a public hearing, we did notice, as per our standards, did not receive any negative opposition to this project. Planning and Zoning Commission, August 7th, they heard this item, recommended approval, no opposition at the public hearing. Findings, staff, we do find this consistent with the general plan. We do find it compatible with the surrounding area. As such, staff and the Planning and Zoning Commission, we are recommending approval subject to those 3 steps in the ordinance. With that, Mayor, that concludes my presentation. Staff's available for any questions.
I have a note here. It says Tony Humphrey is the senior project manager. Did he want to come before us and say anything?
I know he'd answer any questions if you had any.
Oh, just questions. All right, he's standing halfway up there, so, all right, we see you. Thank you. Are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
Would anybody in the audience like to speak? All right, I'm going to close this public hearing, and will the city clerk please read resolutions number 2019-1990 by title only, please?
Adopt resolution number 2019-1990, declaring as public records those certain documents filed with the city clerk titled Official Supplementary Zoning Map 19-05, City of Goodyear AZ Rezone Case and Goodyear Recreation Campus Legal Description.
Thank you. Can I have a motion, a second, to adopt resolution 2019-1990? Do I hear that motion?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion by Councilman Loretano, a second by Councilman Hampton. Open council discussion. Councilman Hampton.
This is, I think we might have addressed this at one point, but Harrison and Goodyear Boulevard, they're getting widened due to the park. Is that correct? At this point, until maybe development north of Harrison gets built out, maybe get wider.
Mayor, council members, yes.
The applicant is coming behind you, so I'm assuming he wants to say something.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Tony Humphrey. I'm the Senior Project Manager. I apologize for the informal wear.
Oh,
I
for
wasn't
heaven's sake,
planning
that's
on-
fine. It's acceptable in this room. We just have to dress like this, okay?
But Madam Mayor, Member of Council, Harrison Boulevard is getting built to meet the capacity needs for the park improvements. There will be improvements along Goodyear Boulevard too, as well as adjustments to accommodate the new traffic flow.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. I just wanted to verify. And then when the multifamily north of there, they'll provide the widening of that to handle their share of the traffic in the future, correct? Off
I'm
Harrison,
sorry, sir?
north of Harrison, that multifamily, then when they go in, then they'll widen their section
Rebecca's
to
up here.
accommodate that like they normally do. So
Madam Mayor, Member of Council, based on our traffic studies and analysis, that the improvements that we're proposed building on Harrison Boulevard will handle projections for many years ahead, for 2040 and such. So the alignment that we're proposed building there will also align the eastern half of Harrison Boulevard. So the improvements that we have proposed have taken those factors in consideration.
okay, yeah, thank you.
Rebecca, come forward. I think I know what you're going to say.
And thank you, Councilmember Hampton. I do want to add that the city owns the property north of the section line. So when we purchased that property, or the property was conveyed to us, we took on that obligation. So even if the road needed to be wider, it would have been our responsibility.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you for coming up. All right, I think we're ready for a roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Stipp,
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo,
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano,
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell,
Aye.
Councilmember Hampton,
Aye.
Councilmember Kano,
Aye.
Mayor Lord.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Great, thank you so much. Will the city clerk please read ordinance number 2019-1447 by title only?
Adopt ordinance number 2019-1447, conditionally rezoning approximately 86 acres located at the northwest corner of Estrella Parkway and Goodyear Boulevard from the PAD Planned Area Development Zoning District to the PFD Public Facilities District Zoning District, amending the zoning map of the city of Goodyear, providing for repeal of conflicting laws, providing for corrections, providing for severability, providing for an effective date, and providing for penalties.
Thank you. Can I have a motion, a second, to adopt ordinance number 2019-1447? Do I hear that motion?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion by Councilman Kano and a second by Councilman Campbell. Open for council discussion? No discussion. Roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Stipp?
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano?
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell?
Aye.
Councilmember Hampton?
Aye.
Councilmember Kano?
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo?
Aye.
Mayor Lord?
Aye.
The motion carries.
Well, it's down to 10. Our last public hearing is to consider an amendment to the PV 303 planned area development for the Camelback Center. Open public hearing. Steve Carecci, Planner 3, presenting again.
Mayor, council members, tonight is a PAD amendment for property within the PV 303. Property we're looking at is about 284 acres. This is Camelback here, Pebble Creek, Charles. So this property is right here, 284 acres. General plan designates this property as business and commerce. Surrounding it, basically to the north, we have county properties here, Arizona Motorsports, and then Luke Air Force Base further north. This is Palm Valley Phase 5, residential here. Then we have UPS and the other industrial development here to the west. This is the overall Palm Valley 303 PAD. It's 1,800 acres. You can see it on both sides of the Loop 303 here. Adopted in 2005, 2007, 6 phases in this PAD. It's predominantly industrial and commercial. Main reason we have Luke Air Force Base, the 65 LDN noise contour running right here. So everything north of this line is basically commercial or industrial development. We also have the accident potential zones 1 and 2 that pretty much run through much of the project. So again, that's why you see the industrial and commercial nature of this development. The property that we're looking at tonight is this one right here. It's designated as East 3 in the PAD. And one line I wanted to point out here is this black line right here. Basically, this line represents 300 feet north of Charles Boulevard. And when the PAD was adopted, one of the measures it did to protect the residential here in Palm Valley was within this 300 feet, maximum building height was limited to 40 feet. Uses were also limited. So basically the main use of the property was office, professional schools, things along that nature. So you had this basically land use buffer between the industrial development here and the PV Palm Valley residential here to the south. The quest tonight is, again, this 284 acres that is designated as East 3. The developer's intent for the property is to develop in accordance with the PAD. They would like to develop it with industrial type development, warehouse, and distribution. One of the things that they would like to do would be to orient those buildings with the dock doors facing north and south to avoid that western exposure on the dock doors. To do that, though, they would have to place any buildings here along Camelback. You would have those dock doors facing Camelback. In other portions of the PAD, there are provisions that allow dock doors to face Camelback, Indian School, Cotton, with the provision of a double row of trees, landscape berms, and screen walls. However, that provision did not apply to East 3. So tonight's request is to bring that provision over from the rest of PV 303 over to East 3. We had a citizen review meeting on July 30th. We did have several residents attend that meeting. Overall, there was a concern with industrial development in the area, but it was the concern, they understood that that was the allowed use on the property. They also wanted to ensure that those buffers along Charles, the 300 feet north, that nothing was being done to affect those buffers. And again, staff and applicant responded in the affirmative that no, there was no amendment that would affect those buffers that were put in place. Required notice, again, because this is a public hearing, mailing, posting of the property, the legal ad in the paper, staff did not receive any negative inquiries as a result of that notice. August 7th, Planning and Zoning Commission heard this item. They did vote to recommend approval to the council. There was no opposition voiced at the public hearing before the Planning and Zoning Commission. Our findings, we do find that request to allow the dock doors to face the roads with the appropriate mitigation measures. We do find that consistent with the general plan, compatible with the surrounding area. As such, staff and the Planning and Zoning Commission were both recommending approval of the PAD amendment. Mayor, that concludes my presentation. Staff's available for questions. The applicant's representative is also here if council has questions.
Would they like to come forth and speak? No, he's happy with it. Okay, all right. All right, then let's, any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
Would anybody in the audience like to speak? And I'm going to close the public hearing. Will the city clerk please read resolution number 2019-1991 by title only, please?
Adopt resolution number 2019-1991, declaring as public records those certain documents filed with the city clerk titled Official Supplementary Zoning Map 19-05A, City of Goodyear, Arizona, rezone case, Camelback Center, legal description, and PV 303 pad development parameters and uses, June 2018.
Thank you. Can I have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 2019-1991? Do I hear that motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
I heard a motion by Councilman Hampton and a second by Councilman Pizzillo. Open for council discussion. I always want to do that. Councilman Campbell, I have to do it.
No,
You know.
it's hysterical.
Yeah.
Oh, Steve, I have a couple of questions, please. I'm very familiar with this area because of the Arizona Motorsports being up in that area and the concern we had when it started operating. So your request tonight is simply to allow the dock doors to face Camelback, or are they going to face towards Charles?
Mayor, council members, the main provision of the request is to allow those dock doors to face Charles, because that would be that north-facing exposure that they would like. Camelback. I'm going to talk to Charles.
Wait a
next.
minute, yeah. Camelback up here, not Charles.
Charles Boulevard, we did clarify that within that 300 feet,
Right.
there would
Okay.
be no dock doors facing Charles. That 300-foot buffer would remain.
Okay, I just wanted to be sure that I understood that, and I understand why they want to reverse the doors, so I get that. So, okay, thank you so much.
Any other?
When you look at the aerial map, there's just a little cutout into the subject property. I was just curious what that is.
Mayor, council members, I believe that is a facility for Liberty.
It is
Okay. Thank you.
Liberty.
Are you satisfied with
Yes,
that
thank
answer?
you.
Any other questions? All right, I remember years ago, that neighborhood came forth. And the one area there, we had, I'm really pleased you're doing what the neighborhood, and I can remember when it was quite a long time ago. And we were going to develop that back section there, right by Charles, and the Palm Valley people came in. So it's so nice to see that, hear that happen, and you listened, or maybe you didn't remember, maybe you weren't here, I can't remember that. So anyway, don't you think it's nice that
It is very
it
nice,
happened? And so everybody's satisfied, even those that didn't show up to the meeting. So that pleases me. All right, roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Stipp?
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell?
Aye.
Councilmember Hampton?
Aye.
Councilmember Kano?
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano?
Aye.
Mayor Lord?
Aye.
The motion carries.
All right, will the city clerk please read ordinance number 2019-1448 by title only, please?
Adopt ordinance number 2019-1448, conditionally amending the PV 303 Planned Area Development PAD to apply the PV 303 PAD development parameters and uses, June 2018, to an approximately 284-acre portion of the PV 303 PAD, Phase East 3, generally located between Camelback Road and Charles Boulevard, amending the zoning map of the city of Goodyear, providing for repeal of conflicting laws, providing for corrections, providing for severability, providing for an effective date, and providing for penalties.
Thank you. Can I have a motion, a second, to adopt ordinance number 2019-1448? Do I hear that motion?
So moved.
All right, I heard a motion by Councilman Loretano and a second by Councilman Campbell. That was the motion by Loretano. Open for council discussion? No discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Stipp?
Aye.
Councilmember Hampton?
Aye.
Councilmember Kano?
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano?
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell?
Aye.
Mayor Lord?
Aye.
The motion carries.
All right, to the business, I'd like to remind council to wait for a motion and second before discussion. Number 11, the first item on business to consider adopting Resolution 2019-1985, which approves a development agreement for Civic Square at Estrella Falls. Our city manager, Julie Arundel, presenting.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. So on April 8th of this year, Council approved a letter of intent with the Globe Corporation to pursue a long-awaited City Hall project through a public-private partnership. Both parties have worked diligently and collaboratively since that time to negotiate the development agreement that we're very excited to present to you for your consideration this evening. Before I get started, I'd like to recognize and thank George Getz and Mike Olson from the Globe Corporation who are joined us this evening. But I also wanted to recognize the many Goodyear team members who, without their vision, creativity, and hard work tonight, simply would not be possible. It was truly a team effort, and I'd like to provide special recognition to the development team, Christopher Baker, Doug Sandstrom, Lori Gary, Bill Cochran, Mel Gibson, and of course, Rorik, the attorney at the forefront. And of course, behind all those individuals I just named, there's very hardworking teams that, again, we all came together to make this possible tonight. There we go. So I'm going to kind of start at the beginning to lay the groundwork to getting to the specifics of our development agreement. So the Globe Corporation, a family-owned business, has owned approximately 47 acres on 150th Drive between McDowell Road and Monte Vista Road since the 1970s. This map reflects the entire 47 acres owned by the Globe Corporation. And of course, you can see McDowell, the Bullard Wash, Monte Vista, 150th, and then the Harkins over to the east. The Civic Square at Estrella Falls is contained within the red dotted area. However, the remainder of the site could support mixed uses such as, but not limited to, restaurant, retail, office, general commercial, and high-density residential. Globe and city staff believe the public investment on the City Hall project would be the catalyst to activate the entire area. And you'll also recall the entire PAD was approved by council before your break on July 8th. So within this project, this is the conceptual drawing for the Goodyear Civic Square at Estrella Falls. It's a public gathering place, unique and walkable, with a mix of office, retail, restaurant when completed. There is approximately 2 acres of open space that can be activated for public events such as festivals, concerts, parades, creating a true sense of community. The concepts that have long driven this project, if you recall, we started this endeavor back in 1984 when the then council envisioned a City Hall project. There were 3 concepts. The first is to create dedicated space designed for consolidated public services. Consolidating these public-facing departments in a purpose-designed space will allow us to better serve our residents and create the daytime density in one central area of the city, which is important to activate economic development. The second was to create that gathering place for public events, the heart of our community. A public place to gather with friends and family, and it would create a sense of pride and a hometown feel for our growing community. And the third is to, again, create economic vitality through this mixed-use development. So now that we've been working through the details of the development agreement, we can specifically hone in on what the first phase of this project and what's covered by the development agreement looks like. So note that the building designs will take place in future steps. So the first phase, as we've discussed, will include a city hall that's envisioned to be 4 or 5 stories, a stately building about 125,000 square feet with a library on the first floor. The park creates the square, and to the north would be the Spec A office building, a 3-story, 100,000 square feet building. It was determined during negotiations that a structured parking solution would best serve this project and attract the desired tenants for the office building. So that's what you see located north of what's labeled B there, is the parking structure. So parking is an important detail for a project like this to be successful. There will be surface level parking to the north and south of City Hall, with 2-hour limited parking diagonally around the square, and the circulation around the square would be one way. The parking garage would serve employees of the buildings, including City Hall, during the day and available to the public in the evenings and weekends to enjoy events at the square. Many of the final development agreement highlights had been anticipated in the letter of intent and will be very familiar, but we do have some additional details, and I'd like to take a moment to walk through a high-level overview of the partnership. The Globe commitment is to donate 6.15 acres of land for the City Hall and Park, and they will construct all infrastructure, buildings, and park through their master developer. The City Hall with Library and Park will be a build-to-suit for the customer, and it will be to our budget and transferred upon completion of the project to our ownership. A deed of trust will be filed to protect the city's interest prior to conveyance, and Globe is also obligated to construct the 100,000 square feet of Class A office space, and we did negotiate that one floor in the first year would be limited to a single tenant. Again, we're trying to drive a certain type of employer to the project. But if, and I don't think this will happen, but if after 1 year that space remains unleased, it would drop to a limit of one user for 15,000 square feet and no restrictions thereafter. The city's obligations are to fund through construction draws all costs for improvements on the donated 6.15 acres. We will pay a 3% management fee to Globe to manage and deliver the project and contribute $3.3 million for site infrastructure with an additional half the cost of off-site wet-dry utilities up to a maximum of $500,000. We will also contribute $5 million towards the structured parking garage, and for that, we would receive 200 dedicated spaces. So I mentioned we have about 205 spaces surface parking. We'll get 200 dedicated within the garage, and then we've retained an option to purchase or lease an additional 200 spaces in the parking garage as the project comes together. The total budget for the city on this project is $87,718,000. It is funded with it will be funded with $53 million bond, which has already been approved, and the balance through the general fund capital improvement program. In the fiscal year 2020 to 2024 CIP, the project was budgeted at $87,468,000. But we had an additional $250,000 that council had approved for space planning. And so consolidating those two numbers gets us to the $87,718. While we had entered negotiations with an outline of an anticipated budget, the negotiations did bring forward a number of items that had not been anticipated, such as the $5 million for the parking garage and the management fee. But these are also offset by the fact that we had included in our budget land, which has been donated, and we will have less surface parking. It is our intent to build the city project to this allocated budget. So tonight, if council were to approve this item, you would be authorizing all expenditure of the funds associated with this project at this time. So for the next steps, the city will be retaining Arlington Watkins Architects to start our project programming and space planning. And Globe has already begun the process with our assistance to secure a master developer. The responses to that RFQ are August 21st, so this week, and we anticipate that the evaluation committee would make their selection for that master developer on October 10th. Wanted to share some of our project milestones, which are included in the development agreement. We believe that the issuance of the design build contract to that master developer would happen November of 2019. We would have the City Hall design completed by January of 21. Issuance of construction notice to proceed in March of 21. A groundbreaking ceremony in March of 21. And this is new, but we do believe this fits into our schedule, that in order to celebrate the city's 75th anniversary on November 19th of 2021, that we've all agreed to have the lawn completed so that we could have a special celebration on that site, perhaps enter a new time capsule into that space. And then June of 22 is when we'll be looking to have our dedication, ribbon cutting, and move into the City Hall. So in summary, if council still believes this is the right time and the right place and the right partner, tonight's action will commit both parties to the completion of this project, concluding with that grand opening for the Goodyear Civic Square at Astoria Falls in the summer of 2022. This concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Would Mr. Getz like to come forward and speak?
Thank you, Mayor Lord, council members, Julie. It's truly been an honor to work with the city and to work with Julie and her team here at the City of Goodyear for this really incredible opportunity to do what we say we're going to do. And on behalf of Globe Corporation, who's, as was mentioned, owned the property since the 1970s, it's been a long time coming. This commitment with the city and the commitment of Globe Corporation is truly a private-public partnership that we have with you. I'm 56, and I plan to be here for a long, long time, and so I'm just as excited as all of you to make sure this happens and happens on my watch. We're committed with our team at Globe Corporation, and we look forward to a successful partnership and a great outcome here with the city.
Thank you very much. And when time comes, I'm sure the council will be talking to you. All right? Are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
Does anyone in the audience like to speak? All right, would the city clerk please read resolution number 2019-1985 by title only, please?
Adopt resolution number 2019-1985, approving the development agreement for Civic Square at Estrella Falls, directing the city manager to execute the development agreement for Civic Square at Estrella Falls, authorizing and directing actions, authorizing expenditure of funds, authorizing budget transfers, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Can I have a motion and a second to adopt the resolution number 2019-1985? Do I hear that motion?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion by Councilman Basillo and a second by Councilman Hampton. Open for council discussion. Councilman Basillo.
You know, it's always been a vision of mine, and I know others on this council, to have a gathering place within the city. We really don't have a main street, and I think this is the perfect location to do that. In fact, I'm so excited about this particular project. I really believe that this will jumpstart this whole area. And this private partnership and public partnership with Globe and the city, I really appreciate Mr. Getz and the Globe Corporation stepping up, because I think this is an excellent opportunity to bring to the city what we've been trying to do for years. I see that park being used for a variety of festivals. You know, the gathering place, I see that parking garage, and I see where we'll be closing off several of those streets around that park. We have a variety of festivals, maybe link it to where we can cross into the shopping center across that actual wash. So again, I really appreciate you working with the city. I appreciate all the fine effort from all city staff, because I know it took a lot of individuals to pull this off, not just one or two. So my hat's off to you, and I'm really looking forward to getting this thing off the ground.
Next, Councilman Loretano.
I've been waiting for this for a long time. This is so exciting. Today's been a very exciting day with the rec campus, and now this, two of our projects that we've really wanted to get moving for our citizens. So I want to thank you and your team and our city manager and all of our city team as well. I'd like to echo just about everything that Councilman Pizzillo said. This is going to be such a great project. And I think phase 2 will probably come a lot quicker than we all expect, because I think there is a need for this type of space in the West Valley. And it's going to basically, I think it's going to be a domino effect. And I think our citizens, everything I've heard is positive from them. They're all excited for this. So I think it's a great partnership, and I think we get a lot of value. And so thank you, and thank you, and thank you everyone who's worked on this.
Councilman Hampton.
Yeah, echo a lot of the same things. So yeah, thank you for all the hard work the staff and whole team has put together. I appreciate the partnership with Globe. We're looking forward to a great product that will be, I mean, it's generational. So, I mean, people will be using this facility for years and years to come. So I definitely appreciate that and that foresight and vision that it's going to last for a long time, for generations. So thank you for that. I'm excited that it also lines up with the 75th anniversary. I'm real excited to be able to celebrate our city and also the future city hall as well. And I'm looking forward to the timetable as it is now, just to be able to be in there in 2022. We'll be celebrating the park the first summer, then we'll be celebrating this. So it'll be a great time. So thank you again, and I appreciate everybody's help.
Councilmember Campbell.
Well, excuse me, I'd like to thank you for stepping out and wanting to partner with us, because it is a big step for this city, but it's even a bigger step for you, because by doing this, you're going to be the catalyst for that entire area. And we're so excited, and we're just so grateful to you. And we thank you for your willingness to do this with us, because I don't think we could have gotten it done any other way. And we've been trying for, I don't want to say how long Mayor has worked on getting a city hall, but it's been a long time. And we just thank you so very much. And thank you to all the staff that has worked so hard for this agreement. And we're just delighted to be your partner.
Mayor Kano?
I know it's been hard to wait, but some things are worth waiting for. And I'm really excited about this. And to use Councilmember Campbell's word, the catalyst. When this idea came out, it was a catalyst and a spark. And just everybody's imagination started just, what can this be? And it just gets better and better. So thank you for your willingness. Thank you for this partnership. And we're creating a great city.
Thank you. Well, it's a monumentous occasion for me. I want to give a little credit to the City Center Committee. You sat on the committee.
Your committee.
Yeah, yes, I chaired that committee. But I just want you to know that built the need for wanting a city hall. So, people have not said, oh, you're going to spend money on a city hall. No, because there's a vast majority of the people worked that. We had a 25-man committee. We worked for 2.5 years, and that's what I got elected on. Fortunately, people forgot about that the second election, and I got voted in anyway. But so it's a place that people come. There's more than just getting out of a car and driving there. Driving to your city hall and your community where you have a park is a very emotional part of our building this city. We have sold our city to this community. They've bought into the the city in every which way they could. And now finally we're able to give them that gift. And without your help, that wasn't going to happen. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm trying not to cry, so keep that up. So right now, what we need to do is, I think all discussions are done, so we need to vote. Is that correct? Am I on the right one?
Yep.
Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. All right, can we do a roll call vote? Oh, Bill, would you like to make some comments?
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Not to reiterate what has already been said, the Globe Corporation has really stepped forward and put themselves on the forefront of developing that particular area, and they've obviously proven to be great partners, and I think we all really appreciate that. And as I said the meeting before we went on break, but I do want to reiterate it, what a statement this is about our staff and your ability to get to yes. I've been saying that for 8 years. We got to get to yes, and boy, did we get to yes, and we've had some great results. This is a huge accomplishment for our staff, and really it was the idea of our city manager who said, hey, let's try this. And I think that says a lot about her and her faith in the team, and then the team's ability to execute. So it's a very proud moment for me, having been with the city since 2001, and I just think it's a great accomplishment. So I'm ready to vote. Thank you.
Well, I think we're ready. Mr. Getz, you're 51, but I'm 81. So I got a few more years on you.
57.
And you can see what this means to me. Before that great beyond, I'm going to see that city hall built. Yes, yes. All right, roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Stipp?
Aye.
Councilmember Kano?
Aye.
Councilmember Pizzillo?
Aye.
Councilmember Loretano?
Aye.
Councilmember Campbell?
Aye.
Councilmember Hampton?
Aye.
Mayor Lord?
Aye.
The motion carries.
All right, what we're going to do right now has a signing. So Julie, you have the floor. Do you want to say anything?
I just want to say, in honor of the momentous occasion, we were going to ask you to
All right,
sign the
so I'm
resolution tonight,
signing
and then Globe has a small token, and then we'd like to do a picture.
Oh, thank you. Oh, how nice. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Lovely. That's, oh, they're beautiful. Wow.
Bill, yours is on your desk.
How exciting. Oh, my gosh. So
I've signed a
exciting.
lot of papers since I've been the mayor, but
This
this
is the
is
big-
probably the most special one I've ever
Mhm.
signed, so thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I think we're supposed to now go yippee and clap. And now we're down for a picture.
Who?
You take your pens with you if you want to.
Take our pins with us?
No.
Okay.
What's you want them down there? Wants everybody down?
Sorry.
Whoops.
Gosh, sorry, honey.
We just want you to know, Bill, they suggested we Photoshop your picture in with our group, so we're going to work on that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh, okay, got to find where I am at. Just a second. All right, we're on number 12. The business is consider approving the preliminary plat for the Pradera Phase 2B and 3. Steve Gurecci, Planner 3, presenting. Steve?
Thank you, Mayor, council members. We are moving over to West Goodyear for a preliminary plat request tonight. This property, about 160 acres. We have Citrus Road here, Lower Buckeye Road. It's surrounded by several of the West Goodyear developments. We have La Jolla Vista, the Levinson PAD, Las Brisas, Paseo Place. Then we have a couple county pockets here to the west and to the north. Some background, the property was zoned 2006. It was zoned PAD, 160 acres, 471 lots in that development. You had a mix of single-family conventional lots and court home lots in that development. May 2018, developer decided to go a different route. They rezoned the property from the PAD to the city's R16 and R14 zoning districts. They did that to modify some of the lot sizes. Court homes went up in size. Some of the larger single families went down. They kept the 471 lots. But again, it was done to modify lot sizes and setbacks. Tonight's plat is for 89 acres, 2 phases, 2B and 3. Let's see, this is 2B, and then 3 is here, kind of the western half of the property. Phase 1 here has been platted. What we have is 50s, basically 50-foot wide lots in this section. And then in this section, we have 55 feet and 65 feet for the lot sizes. 23 acres of open space between the two. But within phase one is where they did have that central area open space and much of the project's amenities in that area. This is a view of the two phases. Both phases will get access through phase one to the public streets here of Citrus and Lower Buckeye. Access points here, here, and here. And you can see that the open space, we have open space along the west side, kind of wrapping around to Lower Buckeye. And we also have pockets of open space here in this phase right here. Staff has reviewed this preliminary plat against the zoning for the property, against our regulations. We do find it consistent with the zoning, with our subdivision regulations, and provides for the continued orderly development of the area. Planning and Zoning Commission, they heard this item on August 7th. There was no opposition to the plat voiced at the hearing. As such, staff and the commission, we are recommending approval subject to the 15 stipulations in the staff report. With that, Mayor, that concludes my presentation. Staff is available for questions. The applicant is also here.
Okay, thank you. Does he want to speak, the applicant?
If you have questions, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
Does anybody in the audience want to speak? All right. Then can I have a motion and a second to approve the preliminary plat for Pradera Phase 2B and 3 with stipulations? Do I hear that motion?
So move.
I heard a motion from Councilman Campbell. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second from Councilman Kano. Open for council discussion. No discussion? All right, let's vote on it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you, Bill. The ayes have it. Next is 13. On business is to consider approving the preliminary plat for Pebble Creek Phase 2, Units 45, 46, 47A, and 47B. Alex Sotinsky, Planner 3, presenting. Alex?
Thank you, Mayor. This preliminary plat before you is in the Pebble Creek community. It's approximately 122 acres. It's at the northeast end of the Pebble Creek community. Down here you can see the Tuscany Falls Clubhouse. The property is designated as residential within Pebble Creek. It consists of 272 lots, 19 tracks. This does extend the golf course, which a planning commissioner did tell me was open and operational. Let's show you what that configuration looks like so you can see kind of the golf courses running through here. Staff did find that it meets the city's requirements and the requirements as included in the Pebble Creek Development Agreement. This does conclude my presentation. The engineer is here for ropes and communities and can answer any questions, and I can answer any questions as well. The Planning Commission did recommend approval subject to the stipulations in the staff report provided to you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any speaker cards?
No, Mayor.
All right, would anybody in the audience like to speak? And can I have a motion and a second to approve the preliminary plat for Pebble Creek Phase 2, Units 45, 46, 47A, and 47B with stipulations? Do I hear that motion?
So move.
Second.
I heard a motion from Councilman Campbell and a second from Councilman Hampton. Open for council discussion. Councilman Campbell?
I do have a question. This may be for the applicant. With this approval, does this finish all of Pebble Creek?
Please have the applicant come up unless you want to answer that. Please just state your name.
Hello, my name is Jeff Urick with B&R Engineering, the civil engineer representing Ropes and Communities. Mayor and council, thank you for having me this evening. To answer your question, there is still one remaining parcel after this preliminary plat that is in the center core, just to the south of this.
And isn't the golf course kind of a buffer between Refinery Church and these homes to be built?
Yes.
All right. And then is it also, is there going to be some type of protection or a wall or something from the RV, away from the RV storage area?
The RV storage area is to the northeast.
Right, northeast.
And it is adjacent to the existing 43B, so it is not, the RV area is not adjacent to this.
Perfect.
These units.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
don't think there's any other question. Appreciate you coming forth.
Thank you, Mayor.
Excuse me, everybody. All right, then can I have we did that, so let's vote on it. Open for Bill, do you have anything?
No, ma'am.
All right, so let's vote for it. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, so 14 is the next item on business. Consider approving the preliminary plat for Estrella Parcel 12.23. Alex, I see you're back again, Planner 3 presenting.
Thank you. This parcel is in Estrella. It's approximately 25 acres. It's on the east side of Estrella Parkway. In June of 1987, the Estrella Phase 1 PAD was approved, which designated this property patio homes. In total, there is 98 lots and 14 tracts within this preliminary plat. There's 2 phases identified. This has to do with the development phasing. So to ensure that fire requirements are being met, the first 29 lots are in Phase 1. You can see the 29th lot here, everything north of the red line. When Phase 2 develops, a secondary emergency access will be required, which will come north of the property, so just out here, and connect to Estrella Parkway as well. The parcel to the north is parcel 12.24. That will provide 2 additional entryways into the parcel. That is also in the city for review currently. That being said, it does meet with the city's requirements for engineering and design standards. Planning and Zoning Commission heard the item on August 7th and recommended approval subject to the stipulations included in your packets. Mr. Tykey's here and can answer any questions if you have any, and I can answer any as well. Thank you.
Does your applicant want to speak? Pete? It wouldn't be the same if you didn't come forward and say something to us, Pete. Welcome.
Well, thank you, Mayor, council members. First of all, I've missed you all. Really what I wanted to mention is a great parcel. Since I was here, I just let you know we just passed 300 sales for the year. So moving right along and very happy with that. So I just wanted to thank engineering staff, planning staff, Planning and Zoning Commission, and you.
Good, welcome. We're pleased.
So
Thank you.
any questions, I'm happy to answer.
We'll check in a moment. So can I have a motion a second to approve the preliminary plat for the Estrella Parcel 12.23 with stipulation? Do I have that motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, a motion from Councilman Loretano, a second from Councilman Vazillo. Open for council discussion. Any discussion for Pete?
No, good.
Looks good, Pete. So we're going to vote on it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Bill. We heard that. All right, it's voted on. All in favor. All right, let's go to the next item on business. Consider approving the preliminary plat for the Estrella Parcel 9.3. Alex is back again to present.
Thank you. Last but not least for my section, this parcel is 27 acres. It's off of Calistoga, just south of parcel 9.8, which is in development currently. To the east is parcel 9.6, and then to the south and the west is future build out of the Montecito community. The property was rezoned to single-family detached 60, SFD 60, within the Montecito PAD amendment, which was approved in 2018. The parcel includes 73 lots and 11 tracts. It does comply with the city standards and the Montecito development standards. Staff recommends approval. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval, subject to the stipulations on August 7th. That concludes my presentation.
All right, does the applicant want to speak or like to wait? Okay, all right. Would anybody in the audience like to speak? It's getting a small audience. All right, can I have a motion and a second to approve the preliminary plat for Australia parcel 9.43 with stipulations? Do I hear that motion?
So moved.
Second.
I heard a motion by Councilman Campbell and a second by Councilman Kano. Open for council discussion? No discussion? All right, let's vote on it. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
The ayes have it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Welcome, welcome, welcome to get another started here. We're on 16, in business to consider approving the preliminary plat for Bennett Meadows. Karen Craver, Planner 3, presenting. Karen?
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Council. This is the subject property for Bennett Meadows, and it probably looks familiar to many of you. It's on the west side of Saraville Avenue. It aligns with Harrison Street on the east side of Saraville. Van Buren's a little to the north, and Yuma's a little to the south. And why I say it probably looks familiar is because in 2018, both the Planning Commission and this council saw this pre-plat and recommended approval and approved it in January of 2018. It had 90 single-family lots on the 28 acres. It had 70-foot wide lots along the north and south property lines and 60-foot wide lots in the interior. Unfortunately, that approval expired before a final plat was submitted or an extension requested. So after Bennett Meadows folks were busy working with the Curtis Commons neighbors to the south on mutual drainage and utility concerns and also going through the lengthy RID process, they resubmitted that same original plat. So nothing has changed on the plat from what was approved. And this is that plat. It's access off of Harrison Street on the south side of the development, and there's also an emergency access onto Saraville at the end of the cul-de-sac up in the northeast corner. This is their landscape and open space plan. It's about 28% open space and landscaping. And this graphic shows you where the 70-foot wide lots are along the north and along the south, with all the interior lots being the 60-foot wide lots. The preliminary plat remains compatible with the surrounding area and remains consistent with the general plan and other development regulations, and both staff and the Planning Commission are once again recommending approval of the preliminary plat.
Thank you.
Happy to answer any questions you may have, and the applicant is also here.
And does the applicant want to speak, or do you want to hold it back? Okay.
If there's questions.
All right, that sounds good. Okay, just a second. Oh, I've lost my way, so. Would anybody else in the audience like to speak? Can I have a motion and a second to approve the preliminary plat for Bennett Meadows with stipulations? Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
I heard a motion from Councilman Campbell and a second from Councilman Pizzillo. Open for council discussion. Councilman Campbell.
Thank you, sir, for coming back. We appreciate it. I know you wanted to start a lot earlier, and I understand some of the obstacles that you had to overcome, but thank you so very much. We're excited to have that area developed, and it's going to be lovely when it's done. So good luck with it.
Any other? All right, let's vote on this. All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
The ayes have it. Congratulations. We look forward to seeing the future homes there. And again, like Councilman Campbell said, sometimes these things happen, but you held on to it, and you're going to be in good year. Thank you. All right, so we're down to council comments. So 7:41, that was quite a meeting for that short period of time. I think we all did pretty well. So does the council have any comments, commendation, reports to make? Yes, Councilman Campbell.
I had the honor to deliver the eulogy Saturday at the funeral service for Council Member Carlo Leone at the request of his family. He was a dear friend of many of us in City Council and in the West Valley, and he will be deeply missed. I also I would appreciate, this is not probably the right place to put it, but I'd like to know when Cheddar's is going to open. I've eaten at one now in Florida and one in Georgia and one in Alabama, and they're wonderful. I tried them all. They're beautiful, and we're just so excited. I'm anxious for them to hurry up and open here. A little good news is I am a new great grandmother as of 9:08 this morning. I have my 7th great grandchild, another girl. Thank you very much. And last but not least, over the weekend, I met with residents of Pebble Creek and Rio Paseo regarding the standing water. We now have been told that we have 3 confirmed cases of West Nile virus in Pebble Creek with the standing water, and we really are getting very concerned. It is now pooled into the Rio Paseo area, and they have green algae water in standing as well. I was called because one of our residents who needed her family to come and take care of her could not get through the water because there's so much water we cannot drive through it at all, north or south on Robeson Circle. And the family, once they got in the main gate, they could come through the main gate and get their pass, but they couldn't go down the wash and come into the area where their mother lived. So that is a real concern to me, and I'm sure that there are visiting nurses and therapists and oxygen delivery and things of people that can't get through that wash. So I'm sure we're going to be having conversations in the next couple of weeks again. Some folks were supposed to show up tonight, and I encouraged them to wait and see what the week brought, because a lot of people are sitting down trying to figure out what to do. But we have a problem.
Well, I know we do have a problem. They called me today. I do want the public to know, though, there is another exit.
Yeah.
It's just out of the way. So it isn't that they can't get to their home, but it's inconvenient.
Oh, no, I'm talking about the people who are coming in as guests. They have to come through the front gate to get a pass. They can't come in any other gate.
But the front gate's not blocked.
No, but you come in the front gate and you come down Robeson Circle and you go over on 150th Drive over by my house. You have to go down the dip, and they cannot get down the dip because the water is too high for the car.
Now, I'm not arguing with it, because I just want the public to know there is, because you can go around the other way.
It's underwater, Georgia. Both of them are.
But not as badly as the one, I don't think.
Well, I don't know. They had them both blocked this morning.
But you're right.
So.
They called, and
Yeah.
I got a call today, and someone says it is our fault that our lines have collapsed. I was unaware of that. I sent the message I called Jessica, gave her the message today. So they called me at my home, and I did return their call. So it is getting at the point where people want some action. I asked if the report was public. Did everybody at Pebble Creek get that, the report? Does anybody know that? Was the report sent out to the Pebble Creek community?
Mayor and Council, yeah, maybe I can add some information to that. The report was done some months ago, and we had shared that with the HOA at Pebble Creek. So they've been working with us closely, monitoring
They
that.
were, because we've been following it on there. I just don't know if they've shared that with all of the community.
That I'm not aware of,
Yeah,
if they have or
but,
not.
I've seen today, I read it completely through finally, and so it shows that responsibility is on both parts, Pebble Creek and the city, although what they're looking for is to replace the lines that have collapsed. And they feel if you do that, then that will stop the depth in the water.
I don't have all the details at this point, but what we have found out literally over the last few days, our staff has done additional research on the condition of the lines, and they found some areas where the water is being restricted. And I think we've seen probably some additional flows in the last few days because the line had to get plugged so we can put a camera in it. But that plug is going to be removed tomorrow.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have anyone this weekend blaming the city.
Get closer.
I didn't have anyone weekend talking to me, blaming the city. They just wanted to know where the water was coming from and how could we be wasting that much water when water is so critical. And they were just concerned that no one was doing anything out of Pebble Creek to stop the water, because we can't stop it coming in. It's got to come through the Bullard Wash, and it's going to keep going, and now it's going to go into Rio Paseo, into their wash area, and that's where it's going now.
Yeah, if we go back to the information that was shared in the report, really it takes us back to realizing that the conditions upstream from the city have changed over the last few years with new agricultural practices. And there's so many players in this. that it's-
369.
It is really almost, it's very difficult, if not impossible, to try to control it.
I guess what, I don't know if there's any.
Madam Mayor,
Oh, I
we're
can't talk
probably
about this.
outside of council information at this point. So if it's a topic you'd like the staff to bring back, it's probably
Yes.
starting to get more appropriate for a work
Yes,
session.
we know better than it hasn't been on the agenda. Sorry about that. But I guess emotion took over and concern. So for the people that are listening, staff has said that they will come back with information. We're not allowed to discuss it any further. It normally has to be on the agenda for us to discuss it. So Wally and I sort of passed that line a little bit, over that line. So we apologize for that. Okay, it's turned over to you, City Manager.
Mayor, I don't have any announcements this evening, but we'll be
Okay.
glad to bring back the information on the wash.
Okay. All right, Council, anything? But Bill, I want to thank you for hanging in there. So appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, this meeting is adjourned.